Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update. It's Wednesday, February 23rd, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The D.C. Circuit ordered a federal judge to reconsider whether banning the sale of cigarettes through the mail and online violates the U.S. Constitution. The Prevent All Cigarettes Trafficking Act took effect last summer after being passed by the Congress to combat illegal trafficking in cigarette sales to minors. The law prohibits the post office from delivering cigarettes sold on the internet and forces Native American vendors to pay excess taxes to local and state governments. Robert Gordon, a member of the Seneca Nation who sells tobacco products online and by mail from upstate New York, claimed that the act cost him nearly all of his business. Gordon filed a suit in Washington, D.C., one day before the PACT Act was to go into effect, citing constitutional violations and infringement on tribal sovereignty. A federal judge denied Gordon's motion for a restraining order and preliminary injunction, finding that the Seneca Nation member filed a motion at the 11th hour and that stopping congressional regulations was against public interest. On an appeal, a three-judge panel found February 18th that the district court had abused its discretion and revived Gordon's suit and remanded the case for further proceedings. The appeals court also found that the district court failed to meaningfully weigh certain factors involved in deciding whether to issue an injunction and wrongfully based its decision on a vague claim of acting in public interest. The Seneca Free Trade Association estimated that more than 140 businesses like Gordon's on the Seneca territory were going to be affected by the law, according to his lawsuit, and 1/8 of 8,000 enrolled Seneca Nation members will lose their jobs as a result. The Native American Caucus in Oklahoma has elected State Representative Dan Kirby and Representative Chuck Hoskins to serve as co-chairs of the caucus for the 53rd legislature. State Representative Anastasia Pittman was reelected to serve as the secretary of the caucus. The purpose of the caucus is to identify and prioritize issues, support the establishment and maintenance of state tribal communications, and policy processes pertaining to sovereignty. The caucus held its first 2011 monthly meeting February 8th. It was established in 2006 through the foresight of State Representative Lisa Billy and former State Representative Shane Jett. The National Council of Native American Legislatures was formed in the 1980s and was reformed as the National Caucus of the Native American State Legislators in 1992. In December of 2010, President Obama put pen to paper to settle long-standing water rights negotiations for 4 Western tribes, including the Crow Tribe of southern Montana. The 1999 Crow Tribe Montana Water Compact, giving the tribe 500,000 acre-feet of water from the Bighorn River and 300,000 acre-feet of water stored in Bighorn Lake. The settlement also includes $460 million to build a water treatment plant, irrigation systems, a hydroelectric plant, and other infrastructure. The last step is for the tribe to vote on whether to ratify the settlement. Yet while the water and infrastructure-rich deal appears to be a great step forward for the tribe, some members view the new water rights and the controls that come with them with skepticism. On February 22nd, the tribal government passed an act establishing how the rectification vote will happen. On March 19th, tribal members will vote at polling stations in each of the 6 reservation districts. If the tribe does ratify the settlement, the next steps will be to get the funding in place, set up a tribal water office, and write a tribal water code. Within a year, construction would begin on the water infrastructure projects. The University of Colorado Regents on February 22nd approved a new scholarship fund for American Indian students, which could help build on the Boulder campus's recruiting efforts for the diverse group of students. CU's Office of Financial Aid received $206,000 from the estate of Sonia K. Clausen, who graduated from the Boulder campus with a bachelor's degree in music in 1961. Her will directed that the money be used to set up a Clausen Scholarship Fund for American Indians. The earnings on the endowment will be used to provide scholarships to deserving, underprivileged, and intellectually qualified children who are members of a federally recognized Native American tribe. Students who have at least one parent in a federally recognized tribe also are eligible. The New Mexico House has approved a proposal to allow students to receive a lottery finance scholarship if they attend a tribal college in the state. The measure unanimously passed the House on February 22nd and goes to the Senate for consideration. The bill will permit American Indian students from New Mexico to qualify for a lottery scholarship if they attend Dene College, the Institute of American Indian Arts, the Southwestern Indian Polytechnic Institute, or Navajo Technology College. About 50 students from UMD joined other university students statewide in St. Paul, Minnesota, February 22nd, to encourage lawmakers to make higher education funding a top priority. The Student Legislative Coalition met with legislators to protest the 15% cut to the University of Minnesota this year and $7 million less to UMD. The students are also hoping that the legislature will consider UMD projects in any bonding bill. A shovel-ready project that needs state funding is the American Indian Learning Resource Center. They were created to serve a day-to-day function, to hold food, clothing, and even act as currency. Now their purpose is art. They are empty yet filled with a connection to the past. More than 30 Native American bags from the Great Lakes region will be on display at the Winona County Historical Society in Winona, Minnesota, as part of a weaving cultural exhibit beginning March 5th and concluding May 22nd. According to Jennifer Weaver, Assistant Director of the Winona County Historical Society, the bags, which date back to the late 19th century to the early 20th century, were used for gathering and trading with settlers. Plant fiber and tree bark are turned into colorful yarn, which is then woven together to make these bags. Displaying shapes from geometric patterns to thunderbirds, the bags, which were donated by Grace Watkins King, were not only made to be functional, but also to tell a story. For more information on the exhibit, you can visit winonahistory.org. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.